Hello everyone, today we're going to learn about one of the most important systems in the human body, the skeletal system. The skeletal system is the framework of bones and connective tissues that supports the body, protects internal organs, and helps us move. It is made up of 206 bones in adults along with cartilage, ligaments, and joints. Now, let's take a look at the 7 main functions of skeletal system. The first one is support. The skeleton provides a strong framework that supports the body and maintains its shape. Without it, we'd be just a blob of muscles and organs. The next one is protection. Bones protect our vital organs. For example, the skull protects the brain, and the ribcage protects the heart and lungs. The next is mineral storage. Our bones store important minerals like calcium and phosphorus, which can be released into the bloodstream when the body needs them. The next is movement. Bones work with muscles to allow movement. Muscles are attached to bones, and together they act like levers and pulleys. Hormone production. The skeletal system produces a hormone called acetylcholine, which helps regulate blood sugar levels and fat metabolism. Next is fat storage. Bones also contain yellow bone marrow, which stores fat as a source of energy. Next is blood cell production. Inside certain bones is red bone marrow, where red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets are made. This process is called hematopoiesis.
Now let's discuss classification of bones. The 206 bones that compose the adult skeleton are divided into 5 categories based on their shapes. Their shapes and function are related such that each categorical shape of bone has a distinct function. First is the long bones. It is cylindrical in shape, being longer than it is wide, located in arms and legs as well as in the fingers and toes. It acts as levers. They move when the muscle contracts. And if we have long bones, we also have short bones. It is cube-like in shape, being equal in length, width, and thickness. The only short bones in the human skeleton are in the carpals of the wrist and the tarsal of the ankles. It can provide stability and support as well as some limited motion. Next is flat bones. Typically thin, often curved. Examples are cranial bones, scapula, sternum, and ribs. Serve as points of attachment for muscle and often protect internal organs. Then we have irregular bones. These bones tend to have more complex shape, like the vertebrae, that support the spinal cord and protect it from compressive forces. We use them to give our body protection and shape. And lastly is sesamoid bones. Small, round bone that is shaped like a sesame seed. This bone protects tendons by helping them overcome compressive forces. The patella are the only sesamoid bones found in common with every person.
So now let's tackle about the appendicular skeleton and axial skeleton. Appendicular skeleton is one of the 2 major divisions of human skeleton, composed of the bones of the limbs and the girdles that attach them to the axial skeleton. It consists of 126 bones and is primarily responsible for locomotions and the manipulation of objects. In appendicular skeleton, we have 4 parts. The first one is shoulder girdle. It is made up of 2 clavicles and 2 scapula. It is only linked by muscles to our vertebral column, give us great flexibility in our arms and shoulders. However, it limits the force we can use. The number 2 is arms. There are 3 components of arm: the humerus, radius, and ulna. There are 8 carpal bones in the wrist, 5 metacarpal bones in the hand, 14 phalanges in each hand, and the number 3, the hip girdle. It is made up of two halves, each formed by the three bones which are fused together on each side. Forms a very stable joint with a vertebral column and passes the weight of the body to the leg. The number 4 is legs. There are 3 parts of the legs: the femur, tibia, and fibula. There are only 7 of tarsals. So now let's move on to axial skeleton. The axial skeleton is the central core of the human skeleton, consisting of the bones that form the head, neck, and trunk. It is the protective framework for the body's vital organs and provides a surface for muscle attachment. It includes the skull, sternum, and the ribs. The skull is made up of 28 bones. There are also 14 bones in the face and 6 in the ears. It fused together in early childhood, and it protects the brain, eyes, and ears. It balances the mechanisms found in the ears. Number 2, the sternum. Sternum is a large flat bone at the front of the rib cage. It helps to make the rib cage stronger. Ribs is made up of 12 pairs joined in the vertebral column. 7 pairs are joined to the sternum. 3 pairs are joined to the 7th rib. 2 ribs are unattached, or the floating ribs. The rib cage protects our lungs and heart.
And now let's proceed with joints. The skeleton has many joints. A joint, also called an articulation, is any place where the adjacent bone or bone and cartilage come together to form a connection. There are 2 classifications of joints. These are the structurally and the functionally. Structural classification of joints consider whether the adjacent bone are strongly anchored to each other by fibrous connective tissue or cartilage, or whether the adjacent bone articulate with each other within a fluid-filled space called joint cavity. Next is the functional classification, which describes the degree of movement available to the bones, ranging from immobile to slightly mobile to freely movable joints. The immovable joints is the formulation of 2 bones that have been fused together. Next is the slightly mobile joints. These joints are not fixed as are immovable joints, and it restricts joints' range of motion to only a few degrees. Next is the free movable joints. These joints have a comparatively large movement and are prime importance in motor performances.
The skeletal system is also crucial for movement and leverages in sports. First, it enables movement in any direction, allowing athletes to run, jump, twist, or turn during play. Bones act as levers, which means they work with muscles to create power and efficiency in actions like kicking a ball, throwing, or lifting. The skeleton also provides the structure where muscles attach, making coordinated and controlled movement possible. Finally, joints are important because they allow flexibility and a wide range of motion, which athletes need for agility, speed, and performance in different sports. The skeletal system is made up of bones, joints, ligaments, cartilage, and tendons. These parts work together not only to support the body, but also to enhance sports performance. One of its key roles is protection. For example, the skull protects the brain, the rib cage shields the heart and lungs, and the vertebrae guard the spinal cord. This is especially important in contact sport like basketball, football, or boxing, where heavy force and collisions are common. Aside from protection, the skeleton also provides structure and rigidity. It gives shape to our body and supports body weight, allowing athletes to maintain balance, posture, and stability during movement. Without this framework, muscles would not have a solid base to pull on, and athletes would not be able to perform with strength or power.
Major muscles group of the human body. The term muscle contraction refers to development of tension within the muscle. Our muscles can work in separate ways. There are 3 main types of muscular contraction: isotonic and concentric, isotonic and eccentric, and isometric. What happens to our muscular system as we exercise? First, increased blood flow. Second, greater oxygen uptake. Third, faster muscle contractions. Fourth, more muscle fibers activated. Fifth, rise in temperature in the muscles. Sixth, our stores of adenosine triphosphate and keratin phosphate in the muscle are used up. 7. Waste products such as carbon dioxide and lactic acid build up in the muscles. 8. Fatigue risk, tardiness and cramps. 9. Our store of muscle glucose are used up. 10. Reduced endurance. 11. Overuse of muscles can lead to soreness and strains.
These are some of the major muscles we should know. For example, when you lift something heavy, your biceps contract. When you kick a ball, your quadriceps are at work. If you stand upright, your abdominals and glutes help stabilize you. Each muscle group plays a specific role, but together they make movement possible.
Agonist. Agonist is basically the main muscles doing the work during a movement. Like if you're doing a bicep curl, your biceps are the agonists because they're the ones lifting the weight. The antagonist muscles does the opposite. It works against the agonist. So while one muscle is doing the movement, the antagonist is there to control or slow it down. Stabilizer or fixator is a muscle that helps keep things steady while other muscles do the work. It doesn't move much itself, but it makes sure the base is stable. Neutralizer. A neutralizer is a muscle that cancels out any unwanted movements caused by another muscle, so you get the exact motion you want.
Physical activity is essential for maintaining health and fitness, but it also comes with the risk of injuries if not done properly. Here are some effective ways to avoid injuries during physical activity. First is warm up and cool down. Warming up prepares our body for exercise by gradually increasing our heart rate. It also helps loosening our joints and it increases blood flow to the muscles. Second, use of proper equipment. We should wear appropriate shoes, clothing, and protective gear like helmets or knee pads because it reduces the risk of injury. Third, practice correct form and techniques. Having proper posture and body mechanics prevent overuse and strain injuries. It is also important to learn and follow correct techniques, especially in sports and weight training. Fourth, progress gradually. We should avoid doing too much too soon, especially if we are a beginner. We should increase the intensity, duration, and frequency of workouts gradually. Overexertion is a common cause of injury. Fifth, stay hydrated and nourished. Dehydration can lead to muscle cramps and fatigue, which also increases the risk of injury. A balanced diet supports muscle repair and energy levels. 6. Rest and recover. We should allow our body to have enough time to recover between workouts. Sleep and rest days are also important to prevent fatigue-related injuries. And lastly, we should listen to our body. Stop exercising if you feel pain, dizziness, or discomfort. Ignoring these warning signs can turn minor issues into serious injuries.